Hear ye, hear ye! You are listening to an old-timey podcast. I'm Normie C.
And I'm Kristen Caruso.
And on this episode, I'll be talking about spite houses.
Woo! Oh, Norm, this is a story you were born to tell.
Do you really think so?
You're a Spidey boy.
He was a Spidey boy. He said, see you later, boy. Oh, yes, Kristen, I am a big fan of spite, and spite houses have fascinated me for a long, long time.
Norm, let me stop you right there.
Oh.
Because I actually have quite the announcement.
Really?
It's for the people who are listening to this episode the very day it drops, November 19th.
We call them the True History Hoes.
No, the Pig Butter people are the True History hosts because they listen a day early, ad-free on Patreon. Hey, speaking of which, if you go over to Patreon right now, right this minute, patreon.com/oldtimeypodcast.
No www?
I hear that these days it's implied, okay? In my day, it wasn't. In my day, we actually said World Wide Web just to let everybody know what the hell was going on. But that's not the point, Norm. The point is that on November 19th, the day this episode drops, we will be having trivia.
That's right.
So if you want to get in on the fun, and you know you do, head on over to Patreon, sign up. It's available for folks at the Pig Butter Investor level. At that level, you not only get into trivia, no, you also get a card and stickers. You get early ad-free episodes. You get bonus episodes of this podcast. What more do you want? You want in the Discord? Fine, we'll let you in, baby. We'll let you chitty-chat the day away. Patreon.com/oldtimeypodcast.
Do you want to spoil what the trivia theme is this month?
Everyone, it's terrible. Go ahead, Norm.
Okay, so I thought it'd be hilarious.
No, it's not hilarious.
Well, so Kristen's birthday is in November. And so I thought for November, we are going to do trivia about episodes that Kristen presented on an old-timey podcast. So Kristen-only episodes.
Sounds nice so far, doesn't it?
And here's the kicker. Kristen is participating in the trivia. Let's see if she has retained any of that knowledge in her noggin.
Folks, to anyone who's new to the program, you might think, gee, that's a slam dunk. You're telling me the woman who presented these stories is going to be participating in the trivia? She's gonna win. This will be no fun. Let me tell you a fun fact about my brain. For about a week, I absorb stuff. I'm like a damn sponge. I sponge it all up, baby. And then I splat it out onto all of you.
Splat it out?
And if you were to ask me a question about an episode that I did even 2 weeks ago, I would not be able to tell you. So
I think it's going to be pretty funny.
I am prepared to be humiliated.
Someone posted in our Discord that Kansas City is holding the ADHD conference, the National ADHD Conference. See that. And my first thought was, how did anyone remember to even show up to this thing?
Rude, Norm. But also I did think, I should probably go to that. And then I think it passed.
It passed like a cloud in the sky.
It sure did. Yes. So trivia will be absolutely humiliating. But you know what's not humiliating? The fact that we have an ad right now.
Holy moly.
Doodaloo! Are you like me? Do you own tons and tons of makeup? Do you have a different product for everything? Well, it's time to simplify in a beautiful, natural way with Jones Road Beauty Miracle Balm. Jones Road Beauty Miracle Balm is an incredible multitasker. I love it on my lips, cheeks, and sometimes as a highlight. It's not drying or cakey. Instead, it gives a natural, glowy look that I'm loving. It's the perfect go-to when you're rushing from work to a holiday dinner or need to look pulled together for a party in just a few minutes. The best part of Jones Road Beauty? All of their products are actually good for your skin. Their products look and feel natural, like you're not wearing makeup at all. This holiday season, simplify your routine with makeup that's clean, strategic, and multifunctional. From November 18th through December 1st, Jones Road is doing their first ever Black Friday sale. Go to jonesroadbeauty.com to get up to 20% off site-wide. That's jonesroadbeauty.com for up to 20% off your entire order. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support an old-timey podcast and tell them that we sent you. And we're back from the ad. Toodaloo!
Okay, Kristen, history host, let's talk about some spite.
Okay.
So as you all probably know by now, if you've been listening to this podcast, I'm a big fan of spite. I mean, if you're watching the video version, behind me is a cross stitch that a lovely fan sent in that literally says, I run on spite and crystal light. So believe it or not, Kristen, spite is a controversial topic.
No, I believe it. It does not sound like a good thing to be spiteful.
Well, Dr. Robert Wallace would agree with you in an article for creators.com. I don't know what the hell that website's about.
Wow.
He wrote, quote, spite and revenge are the same thing, and both words describe emotionally unhealthy, futile behavior that usually boomerangs on the perpetrator. With all due respect, Dr. Robert Wallace.
Hello? Are you fucking stupid?
Because, to me, revenge is direct. Someone has wronged you, so you go out of your way to wrong them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it is usually destructive. And yeah, it is unhealthy. You know, there's a famous quote. It's usually attributed to Confucius. And it goes, before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. Ooh, that's deep. That's deep, baby. And it sums up revenge perfectly. But Kristen, spite is not like that. Well, sometimes it's not like that. Because just like crystal light, spite comes in many different flavors.
Okay.
Some more delicious than others.
Folks, this is not sponsored.
Spite can be one of life's great motivators. Think about all the times that someone has doubted you or told you that you can't do something. And then you take that feeling and you use it to challenge yourself in new ways. Dr. Krista Thomason of Swarthmore College has a definition of spite that I really like. You ready?
Yeah.
Spite is a reactive attitude, a form of emotional defiance of someone else's authority.
Okay. Yeah, that seems good.
So here's an example from history. In the 1960s, Ford wanted to get into the auto racing business. And so they tried to acquire the leader of that industry, Ferrari. But when it came time to sign on the dotted line, Kristen, Ferrari backed out of the deal. They're like, oh, your company has suffocating bureaucracy. There's no place for the genius of Ferrari. Well, that pissed Ford off. So what did they do? They went balls to the wall. They built their own car to compete with Ferrari. And guess what? Ford dominated the racing scene in the late 60s. They beat out Ferrari multiple times.
Yeah, the Ford Pinto was quite a car, wasn't it?
Have you seen that movie Ford versus Ferrari?
No.
There's like Matt Damon in it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about that whole story. So yeah, Kristen, in my opinion, spite is healthy when you are not directly hurting anyone, including yourself. But before you decide to go full spite in your life, please keep in mind, History Hosts, that there are unhealthy forms of spite. It's the Crystal Light fruit punch flavor of spite.
That is the worst flavor.
It is.
And when you get stuck with that in a variety pack, God help you.
I know, the one at Costco, it's like 30 packs of Crystal Light, and like 20 of them are fruit punch.
Again, we cannot stress this enough. We are not sponsored. I don't know why we can't stop talking about Crystal Light. Everybody,
it's a core part of this podcast.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we did talk about Love is Blind in last week's episode.
We did.
And I would be fucking remiss if I did not mention that eventually, you know, Norm, he did drop off of Love is Blind. He said, this is too stupid. I can't keep watching.
True.
Myself, I was hooked. And boy, was I hooked when one of the dudes on the show, dare I say, one of the more normal ones, I thought, maybe the most normal.
Are you normal if you decide to be on a reality TV show?
You're not. I'm just trying to set the scene that this was not a guy who I had clocked as really weird.
Fair.
Folks, let me tell you what this man's morning smoothie is. A baked, unseasoned chicken breast placed in his NutriBlender, water, and a packet of Crystal Light.
That is just disgusting.
It's
why chicken?
The worst, weirdest thing anyone's ever heard.
Drinking chicken?
But I felt like if we were going to talk about Crystal Light, we needed to talk about that smoothie.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
Uh-huh.
That is offensive to the Crystal Light Company.
Yeah. I think Crystal Light should do something spiteful about that.
They should. They should come out with seasoning for chicken.
There we go.
Kind of flip it on them, Crystal Light seasoning. So, yeah, there is unhealthy spite, Kristen. It's the Crystal Light fruit punch of spite. People will often get blinded by the spite, and they harm themselves or others in the process. This is why we have that old saying of cut off your nose to spite your face. Mm-hmm. And a great example of this, Kristen, has existed for probably thousands of years. It's one of the OG forms of spite. It's called the spite house. Someone builds a dwelling or a structure to purposefully piss off a neighbor who they feel has wronged them in some way.
This is ridiculous.
And they're way more common than you think. There is a spite house in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Yes. I don't want to go into the details, but yeah, there is a spite house in our neighborhood. I have been obsessed with this form of spite for a long time. I've thought about it a lot, Kristen, especially because we have had bad neighbors before, and I've fantasized about how to get back at them.
Why not just move? This is what I don't understand.
See, then you let them win, Kristen.
No, you let everyone win by leaving.
Maybe I don't want to move. My house.
Okay, well, get used to it. See, this is why I'm not cut out for these spite houses.
You're not.
Norm, what's the most spiteful thing you've ever done? Are you prepared to share? Do you want to share it at the end of the episode, if we remember?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe at the end of the episode.
Oh, tease.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Obviously there would be a great feeling of satisfaction to have a spite house. But at what cost, Kristen? So to satisfy my curiosity, I wanted to do an episode about spite houses. However, Kristen, as I researched this episode, I discovered something kind of disappointing. A lot of these so-called spite houses, they're not even spite houses at all. They are big, fat phonies.
What?
These stories, they tend to become more myth and legend than reality. So, Kristen, we're going to play a game. I'm going to read to you a few stories about spite houses. And you're going to tell me if you think it's real or fake.
Oh, I love this. Okay, yes.
If you win, I've got a prize for you.
Is it a smoothie? I've
got 2 tickets to the upcoming Kid Rock concert. And I know you have been dying to go. People, you have no idea how much Kristen loves Kid Rock.
Shut up. Shut up. Can you imagine the crowd? Oh.
Okay, you ready to play?
I am.
Picture it. Boston, the mid-1800s, the North End neighborhood, the oldest residential community in Boston, home to the legendary founding father, Paul Revere. Future topic?
Didn't he just holler on a horse? Is he really the...
Holler!
I probably shouldn't talk shit.
Didn't he holler on a horse?
Well, yeah, isn't that kind of all he did?
I mean, that's what he was famous for.
Well...
He did a lot more stuff, though. You'll learn in a future episode, perhaps.
Oh, boy.
Okay, anyway. In the North End of Boston, a father passes away, leaving a plot of land to his 2 sons. Each boy has visions of building their Barbie dream home on that land. But then the American Civil War breaks out. One brother volunteers to save the Union, and the other one stays back. Why? Who knows? Well, after kicking some Confederate ass, the one brother returns home, only to discover that his brother has built a new home using most of the property.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Ooh. In fact, all that was left for that soldier was a little sliver of land. And that soldier was furious. What gives? And the brother was like, well, you were gone, so I built my house. But
yeah,
hey,
I hoped you would die in battle.
But, you can have the rest of the property, whatever's left. And that asshole brother thought, yeah, there's no way he can build anything on that tiny bit of land. Well, guess again, out of spite, the soldier built the tiniest, narrowest house in Boston. It was 4 stories tall, and it completely blocked all the sunlight coming into his brother's house, not to mention blocking his entire view of the city.
No.
And the house was located at...
Oh, my God, Norman. Okay, I'm so excited. This is a wonderful topic, by the way. Okay, what do we got?
44 Hull Street, Hull, Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, my Lord. Look at that skinny little house.
What do you think, Kristen?
Wow. First of all, this thing is kind of adorable.
It's cute.
And so, yeah, this is a very skinny house, and it appears to be attached to a house that's a little more than twice as wide as it is.
Attached?
Well, yeah, it looks like it's attached to it.
They're actually not attached. They are literally right next to each other, but, there's a wall separating those homes.
But they're still attached.
Okay, I guess technically they're attached.
A duplex, there's a wall that separates, but they're still attached to each other.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about this house.
Okay.
So inside, the width of the house, it varies from as little as 6 feet wide all the way up to 9 feet wide, and that's it.
Shut up.
There are only 5 doors in the entire house. There's a tiny kitchen on the first floor. There's a bathroom on the second floor. And then the rest of the house is just tiny little bedrooms and living spaces. And boy, is it cramped inside, Kristen. Many owners of the house complained about how it's difficult to have more than one person in the room at the same time. One owner stated, quote, "We had a party of 10 one New Year's Eve, and when one person has to go to the bathroom, everyone has to move."
This sounds terrible.
Today, it is known around town as the Boston Skinny House. The Boston Landmarks Commission stated, quote, "In a city where there are many narrow lots, this far exceeds the norm. As far as we know, it is the narrowest house in Boston." A sign on the door reads, "The Skinny House," and in parentheses underneath, Spite House. It last sold in 2021 for $1.25 million.
No way. Boston is ridiculous.
Well, and the North End is very expensive.
Sure.
Which, by the way, great Italian food in the North End. I've never been, but I've seen it a lot on Kitchen Nightmares.
Norm, I've been, can confirm.
That's right. You lived in Boston for a little bit.
I did.
Partying it up in your college days.
That's right.
Making out with anything that moved on the dance floor.
Wow, okay.
Hey, you had a good time, right? It was your hoe phase, right?
Excuse me, you're the biggest hoe I know, so I will not be... No, you're not.
That is a bold-faced lie. I'm the littlest hoe you know. So, Kristen, what do you think? Is this a spite house? Is it fact or fiction?
Yeah, I believe it. Oh my God, come on. Oh.
No, I'm sorry, Kristen. This is actually not a spite house.
Well, what the hell?
The truth is, the Boston Skinny House was never built out of spite. It's actually just what remains of an original, larger house.
Oh.
So here's the story. Back in 1857, there was a duplex there, and it had the addresses of 46 Hull Street and 48 Hull Street. Each unit had a front door, and 46 Hull Street had an alley entrance as well.
Okay.
But by the 1880s, the owner of that duplex had converted it into a triplex. So you had 48 Hull Street, 46 Hull Street, and then 44 Hull Street, the Skinny House.
Okay.
And if you actually look at the Skinny House, there's no front door.
Yeah, there's not.
Yeah. So the entrance to that house is in the alleyway, which once belonged to 46 Hull Street. By the 1900s, 46 Hull Street and 48 Hull Street had been torn down, and they replaced them with those brick buildings you see today. And all that remained of the original structure was the skinny little house at 44 Hull Street.
This is bizarre.
In 1914, the Skinny House was sold and labeled in the newspaper as the smallest estate in the city. And by 1920, the first rumors of it being a spite house appeared in newspapers. It claimed the house was, quote, said to have been built in revolutionary times, which is just false. It was built in 1857. So there you have it, Kristen. The Boston Skinny House was never a spite house.
You know what my problem is?
Disappointed!
I love a good guy and I love a bad guy.
You do?
And you set me up, man. You set me up. Guy goes, fights for the union, comes back, just wants to enjoy himself. But no, his asshole brother who stayed behind has built a McMansion for himself and given his brother a pup tent to sleep in.
The story was like too perfect.
It's too perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't think I'm going to learn from this one, you're wrong.
Okay.
Hit me with another one.
Okay. Picture it. The early 20th century, Cambridge, Massachusetts. What's with all these spite houses in Massachusetts, Kristen? Must be something in the water. Is that how you say water?
My favorite is I had a roommate with a really thick Boston accent, and I loved the way she said bra. She said it with a lot of R's. Brar.
Brar.
And I love the way she said drawer. So that was jar.
Drawer.
And the best was when she was getting her brar from her jar.
I bet you had a good time.
The funniest thing was like, now this is rude, but to me, the Boston accent is so unattractive, but she was like so beautiful. So it's just funny to see a beautiful woman and hear her speak and go, my God.
I love accents. I don't care where it's from.
Really?
Yeah, even your Midwestern accent.
Even my Midwestern
really
accent.
gets me going. All right, Kristen, we're in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Cambridge or Cambridge?
Is it Cambridge or Cambridge?
I thought it was Cambridge.
I don't know. Damn it, all these towns in Massachusetts. Hang on.
Well, that's an easy one.
Cambridge?
Cambridge. Yeah,
Cambridge?
I think so. I mean, that's
Hang
how
on.
I've always said it. Sorry, dude. Okay.
Are you serious? Cambridge?
Norm, if you can't say Cambridge, how are you going to say Worcester? I mean, Massachusetts
Okay.
is just a minefield for you.
Let me tell you how to spell Worcester. You ready? Worcester. That is how you spell Worcester, apparently. Okay, Cambridge. My apologies. Early 20th century. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Is that better?
No, now you're making it weird by acting like it's all about Came.
Cambridge.
Okay.
Cambridge. A man named Francis O'Reilly owns a puny little lot on the corner of Appleton and Concord Avenue. According to historians, O'Reilly got this lot in part due to an error on the land surveyor. Francis O'Reilly really didn't know what to do with it, so he knocked on the neighbor's door, who owned a pretty sizable piece of property. And he was like, hey, are you interested in buying my little peony lot? And the neighbor was like, no thanks. I mean, what could I possibly do with that tiny little peony lot? Well, that pissed off Francis O'Reilly. How dare this man criticize his tiny little peony lot? It's not the size that matters. It's how you use it.
Uh-huh.
And Francis O'Reilly did decide to use it. He built himself a house that was 37 feet long and only 8 feet wide, 308 square feet. This tiny structure has been described as more of a long, thin room than a building. There are playhouses that are bigger. Over the years, the building has become a retail space. It was once a leather shop, a toy store, a coffee shop, an interior decorator's office, and today it's like an upscale thrift store. And it's located at...
Oh my God, I love this.
260 Concord Avenue, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Oh my God, look at that dinky little thing. That is ridiculous.
That's what you said the first time you saw me naked.
Okay. Then you spite married me.
I'll show you. You're going to be with us the rest of your life, lady.
Okay, here's my problem. I'm hearing these stories and I'm developing an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But then I look at the photo.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous that I think, well, this has to be a spite house. No one would intentionally do this because it looks good or because they want it this way. It has to be driven by spite. But you know what? I learned from the first round.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the story's a little too good.
Okay.
Oh gosh, this looks so stupid. The first one, that house kind of looked cute.
It did look cute.
This is just weird. It's really weird.
Okay.
Which does seem pretty spitey.
Yeah. Kristen, do you have an answer? Is this a spite house?
No, it is not.
Yes! Yes!
Great job, Kristen. Once again, this is not a spite house. The truth is, this cute little building was originally zoned as a commercial building. It was never a house. The first occupant moved into the structure in 1910, a cobbler. And like I mentioned, it has been a variety of different businesses over the last 100 years. A local historian commented on the spite rumor, stating, "I just don't have any evidence to support the spite theory."
Disappointed!
Okay, but how is this building so old? What in the Frank Lloyd Wright with this roof line? It's a flat roof. How has it not rotted and been swept away by a strong wind? This weird little building.
It's such a tiny building. You could get up there with a straw and suck all the rainwater off in one gulp.
They have a long, silly straw that has been passed down from owner to owner.
Yeah. You just suck it all down. Honestly, like, when I found out it was always a commercial building, it just makes total sense to me. I mean, if you look at the interior of that building, there's no way that was ever a house. Ever.
Oh,
it
okay.
clearly looks like a cute little store for the neighborhood.
Okay, well, I disagree that this place looks intentional at all. To me, it does look like some weird accident.
You think this was like, I asked my cousin to build me a structure?
Yes. And I went on vacation thinking I could trust him. But then, turns out the guy starts his day with chicken and Crystal Light smoothies. He's a total weirdo, and this is what he built me.
Well, if he's doing the wild strawberry Crystal Light with the chicken, which has some caffeine in it, yeah, he might get a little crazy and build a weird little
that liquid
building.
Chicken will do stuff to you.
So yes, Kristen, it's not a spite house. All right, let's try again.
Okay.
Picture it.
Yes.
New York City, 1882. The Gilded Age.
Oh, God, I love the Gilded Age.
If you have not seen The Gilded Age, it's great television, folks.
It is very fun. I have thought, and this is a ridiculous thought. This is delusions of grandeur. But I have thought, how fun would it be to do an episode on all of the real characters who inspired everyone on The Gilded Age?
Interesting.
The TV show. Yeah. It will take 12 years to get it all, because you think I can cover these people in one episode? Of course I can. It's 12 episodes each, mandatory. Anyhow, tell me about this spite thing.
Well, it would be an old-timey Gilded Age podcast. We would just have a theme from now on.
Hell yeah.
In the Upper East Side, on the corner of Lexington and 82nd, a developer wants to build some brand new apartment buildings. But he soon learns that he can't put it right on the corner of 82nd and Lexington, because another man owns a very narrow strip of land that's 102 feet long and 5 feet wide. That seems like a useless piece of property.
I feel like you should not be allowed to own a portion of land that is that weird.
That's comically small?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not going to do anything with it. Instead, you're just going to cause problems for other people.
Maybe the city is trolling us when they dish out lots like this.
I mean, maybe.
Like, let's see what happens next. So, this seems like a useless piece of property. But, this developer, he'd really like his tenants to fully enjoy the corner lot. And so he asks the owner of that land if he can buy it. He's like, how about $1,000? The owner refuses.
$1,000 in 1880 something?
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like...
it's like $1 billion.
It's like $38,000.
Oh, okay. That doesn't seem as ridiculous now that you say it. Wow, you really humbled me. Okay.
The owner of that lot refused. He wants $5,000 for that little strip of land. The developer is like, yeah, that's a ripoff. And he said, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to build my apartment buildings. It's only 5 feet from the corner. And, it's not like this guy can build anything on that tiny piece of land. Well, guess again. Out of spite, the owner of that narrow strip of land builds himself 2 4-story brick houses
No.
on that skinny-ass 5-foot
No.
wide lot. His brick houses completely block the windows of one side of the developer's apartment building. The spite houses were used for years as both residential and commercial space until the structure became unstable and was torn down in 1915. All right, Kristen, what do you think? Was this an actual spite house?
Okay. I think that whole thing sounds way too ridiculous. I'm going to say no, it's not a spite house. Is that a true story?
It is an actual spite house.
That is nuts.
Yes. And that is going to be the main story of today's episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so early on in my research, I kept getting annoyed because I would look up all of these famous spite houses and I would learn that, oh, it's not actually a spite house. It really made my shit itch. But then I discovered this one, a 4-story brick building, 102 feet long, 5 feet wide, and it was built to piss off the owner of the building next door. And holy shit, it was actually real. It is a real spite house. And then I started digging deeper into the story because I thought in this episode I would tell you about 10 different spite houses.
Right.
But I dug into this one, and boy, oh boy, I went down a serious rabbit hole. And so I'm going to focus on this one spite house for the rest of the episode because it is a crazy story.
Okay.
The man behind this spite house was a wealthy, eccentric, shady millionaire from the Gilded Age, and his name was Joseph Richardson. So you might be wondering, who the hell was Joseph Richardson? Well, he was not born rich, Kristen. He was born in Liverpool, England on September 7th, 1814. And growing up, he entered the trades. He became a plasterer and a mason. But in 1833, at the age of 19, the United States was calling to him. His older brother had recently moved to the United States, and Joseph wanted to go and see what all the fuss was all about. But it was tough for Joseph at first. During his first few days in the country, Joseph Richardson wandered the streets of New York City looking for work, but no one seemed to be hiring. So Richardson decided to create work for himself. On the house on the corner of Exchange Place and Broad Street, he noticed a crumbling chimney, and so he decided to ask the owner if he would like it fixed. He said, "Hey, I noticed your chimney's in bad shape. I'm a mason, and I can fix it for $50. Adjusted for inflation, $2,000 to fix the chimney."
Okay.
And the owner of the house was like, how about $25?
Oh.
Which today is like $1,000.
Yeah, we can do the math.
Okay, very good. Joseph Richardson agreed. It was better than nothing. But that job really showed his talent as a mason. And unbeknownst to Joseph Richardson, the owner of that building was a wealthy real estate dude. And he was like, "Whoa, you did an awesome job on this chimney. I've got way more work for you if you want it." And that basically launched Joseph Richardson's career as one of the top masons in New York City.
Oh.
He secured thousands of dollars in profitable contracts. He worked for high-end clients like the Vanderbilts. He was even called in as an expert witness in the courtroom to testify if masonry work was quality or not.
Wow, okay.
But Kristen, his most profitable building project was the Waterworks in an up-and-coming city called Bridgeport, Connecticut, home of our good friends General Tom Thumb and P.T. Barnum.
Previous topic.
It's been 84 years.
That
Gosh,
was a bonus episode, folks.
previous bonus topic.
Yeah.
You have to give us money to listen to it.
It is a good episode.
It is. So Joseph Richardson builds this Waterworks, and he's like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me we can charge people for managing their water, a necessity of life? Hot damn, that sounds like a pretty profitable venture. And so after building the Waterworks in 1853, Joseph Richardson became the company's first president in 1857. And his instincts were correct. He made a ton of money running the Bridgeport Waterworks. In fact, it was so profitable, P.T. Barnum tried to buy the company from Joseph Richardson. The price? $300,000. Adjusted for inflation, P.T. Barnum wanted to buy the waterworks for $75 million.
Wow.
And Joseph Richardson said,
Hell no.
Yep, it's too good.
yeah, it was too good.
Was he just supplying fresh, safe drinking water to people? Is that the deal?
So from what I read, yes, he was providing drinking water and waste management.
Okay.
So, they're slowly introducing plumbing into Bridgeport during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was a hot new thing. So you're going to make a lot of money if you're running the waterworks.
Okay.
So Joseph Richardson would remain a shareholder in that company for the rest of his life, collecting checks. And that was pretty lucrative. Joseph Richardson built and ran more waterworks around the country. He built the waterworks in Laramie, Wyoming, and Houston, Texas.
Oh my God.
So Joseph Richardson is now raking in the money, and he continued to look for more business ventures to increase his wealth. And he found it in the railroads.
Oh, well, yeah.
So railroads are popping up all over the United States, and Joseph Richardson wanted to get in on the action as a builder, as an investor, as a director of the railroad companies. And he had his hands in basically every railroad across the country. He was part of the Union Pacific Railroad, the Iron Mountain Railroad, the Mexican Central Railroad, the Hannibal and St. Joseph Railroad, which is what ran through Kansas City all those years ago. And this is when, while doing my research, I found that Joseph Richardson may have been involved in some shady business dealings because he worked closely with a man named Jay Gould. Kristen, does that name sound familiar to you at all?
No.
Okay. Earlier, you were talking about doing episodes about characters from the Gilded Age and their real-life counterparts.
Okay, yes.
Mr. Russell from the Gilded Age is based on Jay Gould.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Mr. Russell.
Are you sure?
Shout out to you. Sexiest man on the show.
I'm about to bust.
He is a good-looking dude.
Mrs. Russell, you lucky woman.
Are you sure about that?
You sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
You sure about that?
I didn't realize we still had the soundbite.
Yeah, here, let's see. I'm just going to Google for you right now. Who is Mr.
He's so smug.
Russell
I'm just
from
gonna
the
Google
Gilded
for you right
Age
now.
based on? George Russell in the Gilded Age is primarily based on the real-life railroad tycoon
From
Jay
Cambridge.
Gould. The show's creator, Julian Fellows, drew inspiration from Gould.
Norm, I owe you an apology, which I will deliver to you whenever I feel like.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. Thank you. So Jay Gould was one of the most notorious robber barons of the 19th century, someone who gained their wealth through ruthless and immoral practices. Jay Gould frequently manipulated stocks to gain control of railroads like the Union Pacific, the Erie Railway, the Missouri Pacific, and more. He fucked around with the gold market by buying up tons of gold, and he convinced the U.S. Treasury to stop selling gold, and that caused the gold prices to go sky high. And when they did, Jay Gould sold all of his gold, and then the market was flooded with gold. The price collapsed, and that day was known as Black Friday.
What an asshole.
Today, we celebrate it every year by buying a bunch of shit. Jay Gould also took control of the Western Union Telegram Company. This basically gave him control of the Associated Press, which relied on the Western Union to transmit their news stories across the country. Even during his time, while he was alive, Jay Gould was referred to as, quote, the champion thief of America. Future topic? What do you think?
Yeah.
So yeah, while I was doing my research on Joseph Richardson, he did quite a bit of work with Jay Gould. It seemed like a you scratch my ass and I'll scratch yours
Is
kind of
that the
relationship.
saying?
Isn't that what the saying?
Yes.
You scratch my ass, I'll scratch yours.
And then pull my finger
And I'll pull yours.
and I'll smell yours.
Oh, where's that finger been? So how did their relationship work? Well, Joseph Richardson got a ton of Jay Gould's building projects around New York City. And in return, it seemed as though Joseph Richardson tried to help Jay Gould take control of more railroads. And I'll give you an example. This was a huge scandal in 1877. Joseph Richardson was elected the president of the Hannibal and St. Joseph Railroad. And the company seemed to be doing well, but in just a few months, a former employee sued the company for mismanagement. A judge in Missouri assigned a receiver to the company, which means a third party has to manage the property during the legal dispute.
Okay.
And so as a result of that, the stocks tanked. There were loans that were due, and stockholders learned that Joseph Richardson had borrowed money from none other than Jay Gould to pay off those loans. And they went ballistic. They accused Richardson of colluding with Gould to take control of the railroad, which Jay Gould definitely wanted, by the way.
Of course.
And Joseph Richardson was like, what's wrong with Jay Gould? He's a great guy. Sure, he's been working with our competition. And sure, this railroad is the only one that crosses the Missouri River into Kansas City. And it would really be beneficial for Jay Gould's Union Pacific Railroad. But, he doesn't want it. That's crazy. The shareholders were not buying it. They demanded Joseph Richardson's resignation. And so he did resign as the president of that railroad.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only shady stuff Joseph Richardson did, though. Like other wealthy New Yorkers, he was always hiding assets. Many of his properties, stocks, bonds, and securities, they were in the names of family members. There was nepotism. He assigned his son, George Richardson, as the superintendent of the Bridgeport Waterworks. His niece, Emily Emmett, who was by all accounts a recluse, was named the director of the Houston Waterworks and given tons of shares of stock. But honestly, that was kind of normal behavior for wealthy men in New York City.
Well, probably everywhere, right?
Yeah, specifically, it was really a thing in New York City because that's where most of the money was at the time.
Okay, yeah.
But that does not mean Joseph Richardson was normal. He was kind of a weird guy, Kristen.
No one ever indicated that he was normal.
Well, he was doing normal things for wealthy men at this time, hiding his assets, taking control of railroads.
Being a huge douche. Okay, yeah.
But this dude was kind of weird, okay? Newspapers frequently referred to him as an eccentric millionaire devoted entirely to the making and saving of money. And that led to some real odd behavior. He apparently, quote, disdained the glitter of New York social life and shunned publicity. Joseph Richardson hated the media. He would always say he would rather throw away $10,000 than see his name in the newspaper. He also liked to cosplay as a poor person. Joseph Richardson was a tall, gaunt man. He wore shabby, baggy clothes everywhere he went. He always packed a paper bag lunch. If you looked at him on the street, you would never know he was worth $30 million or whatever.
Uh-huh.
He would routinely haggle on expenses, even very small expenses. Well, you look at the camera like that, huh?
Oh, God, I'm thinking of my father.
One time, Joseph Richardson convinced a doctor he was just a poor working man to get a minor medical bill cut in half.
No, I hate that. I hate that so much. This could be wrong, but I think a lot of the time when someone has the audacity to ask for something like that, it's because they've got it covered. And it's the people who don't have the audacity to ask or to say, hey, I'm in a bad spot. Those are the ones who actually need the discount.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ugh. Anyway, so he got half off his Neosporin and he was good.
He did. He got half off his ball juice.
That's right. Another previous topic, Norm.
That's right.
It's been 84 years.
When we talked for 3 hours about testicles. Great bonus episode. You have to give us money to listen to it.
No one's going to pay to hear a 3-hour episode about testicles.
You don't know.
I guess, yeah, we could get a whole lot of freaks in here.
A lot of freaks. A lot of freaks listen to this podcast, and we love it. So, yeah, he's cosplaying as a poor person. You'd also think that a multimillionaire would kind of be done doing physical labor. No, Joseph Richardson would often stop on the street and criticize other masons for their work.
Oh, God.
And then he'd pick up a trowel and be like, let me show you how it's done.
Okay, you know what I would love?
What?
I would love if someone was onto him and they just knew when he'd be walking by, so they started doing the work poorly themselves, knowing this expert will condescend to me, but he'll finish my chimney for free.
You might like what happens to him next, Kristen.
Okay.
He was supervising masonry work in the Harlem Railroad Tunnel. And, once again, his masons were doing a poor job. So he grabbed the trowel and he's like, let me show you how it's done. Well, he's an old-ass man at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he didn't notice that a fucking train was coming.
Oh, no.
And he got hit by the train.
Sorry, that's rude. That's rude.
He was okay. You can laugh.
How was he okay? He got hit by a train.
He got hit by the train. It sent him flying through the air like a rag doll.
Oh, my God.
He was seriously injured, but he did make a full recovery.
What kind of train was this? Was this like the train you see at the zoo that goes real slow for the kids? I mean, how did he not die?
I don't know. I don't think it was like that kind of train, but yeah, he did survive. Joseph Richardson, he wanted no glitz. He wanted no glamour, even after he was dead. When he was in his 50s, he chopped down a walnut tree on one of his properties, and he had a coffin made for himself. And he said, if the coffin is too large when I die, just fill the extra space with sawdust. But Kristen, Joseph Richardson had like another 30 years of life left. And so in the meantime, that coffin was used as furniture in his house.
What?
It was, quote,
Joseph, that's the weirdest thing.
a pleasant place in which to keep preserves and canned fruits in his dining room.
Okay, this dude is ill. He is ill. What is wrong with him? Why is he accumulating money like this? Cosplaying as someone with no money and eating peaches out of a coffin that he made for himself. And his main concern is the coffin might be too big for me one day.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he's like
Who cares?
Maybe he's like a goth dude, Kristen. He's like,
What?
this is metal. Got this coffin in my dining room. This is where I'm going to be buried.
Maybe, I don't know.
In one episode we talked about for your funeral, you like pick out your coffin and you're buried as like Dracula,
Yes.
He's kind of doing the same thing. He's picking out his coffin and he's like, I want to be buried in this coffin. And like, yeah, I'm going to throw some peaches and strawberries in it, but like, it's not a big deal.
You are a maniac, Norm, because you started that whole sentence with something totally normal. Planning for the end of life. Normal. It's when you bring the coffin that you selected into your dining room for 30 years and eat out of it.
Kristen, it's a perfectly cromulent coffin, okay? You can store stuff in it.
Okay.
And he used walnut, which is a beautiful wood, by the way.
I'm sorry.
But Kristen, even weirdos like Joseph Richardson have problems like the rest of us.
This man is all problems.
In 1872, his wife, Anne, passed away at the age of 58. And so Joseph moved in with his daughter, Delarifa Richardson. Can you believe that name?
No, I cannot.
Delarifa. She usually went by the name Della.
Yeah, that's so much better.
And just like her dad, Della was kind of an oddball.
Yeah, she'd have to be.
She was middle-aged, single, rarely seen in public. She lived in one of her father's buildings with a cousin and a family friend. It was on the east side of New York City at 110 East Houston Street. It's no longer there.
Oh, okay.
So just telling you where it was.
I don't need to see the Quiznos that they put up there.
No.
Okay.
The last Quiznos in New York City. So she lived in this 4-story brick building that neighbors called the prison house. It had tiny windows with iron grates in front of them. So it kind of looked like a big prison.
Yeah.
Della never answered the door. She did not allow anyone inside the house, not even workmen who were like trying to fix a roof leak. She had them go into the building next door, go up to the roof, and then hop down to the roof of her building.
Good grief.
If people loitered too long in front of the prison house, Della would throw buckets of water on them from the second and third floor.
No, you're an asshole.
She was threatened with arrest several times.
She's like, good luck getting me. I'm already in prison.
Yeah. All sorts of rumors spread about her, the very reclusive daughter of Joseph Richardson. But Joseph didn't live with his daughter for too long because in 1881, he found love again, Kristen, a widow named Emma, and they got married the following year in 1882. For what it's worth, Della did not like her new stepmom.
Of course not.
Those feelings would play out in the events to come. Stay tuned.
Oh, God.
But Joseph Richardson was a big fan of his new wife because Emma had property. She had...
That was the reason he was a fan of her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
He
This whole episode is sick. You had me going with, Spike's not always a bad thing. Spike can be... This is sick, sir. I'm going to throw a bucket of nasty water onto you to teach you a lesson about hanging around here telling us nasty stories.
You're acting like I'm a big fan of Joseph Richardson. I haven't even finished the story yet.
Okay. You kind of are a fan. I can tell you're kind of a fan because you're presenting this weird coffin stuff like it's something we're all doing. You're talking about like, hey, it turns out he did have some quirks.
Listen, I kind of am a big fan of eccentric millionaires that do weird shit, okay? Not evil shit. He just does weird shit, all right?
Okay.
And I got to write to the makers of The Gilded Age and be like, have you guys considered putting Joseph Richardson in your show? I think he'd be a great character.
Here's the thing. Here's the problem with a character like Joseph Richardson. If he was fictionalized, people would say, this character's too ridiculous. It's unbelievable. It's too ridiculous. And that's why it has to be like a documentary. It has to be something where you're like, this actually happened, though.
I know. And I've told you, I'm saving all of my research because I really think I want to learn more about this man.
I can tell you do. You've got a twinkle in your eye that cannot be denied.
I do. Okay. So he loved his new wife, Emma, because she had inherited a bunch of land from her deceased husband. And one of those plots of land was kind of odd. It was on the corner of Lexington Avenue and 82nd Street. 102 feet long and 5 feet wide. Kristen, I have brought a tape measure in here.
Okay.
Just for reference, I'm going to show you what 5 feet is, okay? That's how wide the property was.
That is ridiculous. Most people would not be able to lay down in it. I mean, you'd have to lay down like a hot dog in the house.
Yes.
Wow.
The house is the bun and you are the hot dog. So yeah, that's 5 feet. And you might be wondering how a plot of land could be so small. Well, many of the properties in those days predated New York City. And as the city grew, they took over plots of land to add streets, to widen streets. And so through that process, sometimes these bigger plots of land were shrunk down and cut up into these tiny, awkward plots of land. And the city usually compensated people for their land. And that is how the Richardsons came to own a little strip of land that was 102 feet long and 5 feet wide on the corner of Lexington and 82nd. No one knew at that time that that little piece of property would result in one of the craziest spite moves of all time. In early 1882, a developer named Hyman Sarner wanted to build some nice apartment houses on his property. And he owned the lot right next door to the Richardsons' tiny little strip of land. But Hyman Sarner, he really wanted to carry the building all the way to the corner of 82nd and Lexington. Of course, there was that 5 foot wide strip blocking the corner. And Sarner thought, gosh, it'd be a lot better if I just owned the land all the way to the corner. Then my tenants could enjoy the view of Lexington Avenue. So he looked through the property records and he determined that that strip of land was owned by none other than Joseph Richardson. But what do you pay for land that's 102 feet long and only 5 feet wide? It seems kind of useless. It's not like you could build anything there, right?
This is so annoying. This is why it sucks. Is like someone's going to really want that land because it's going to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person can just kind of hold them hostage and charge a ridiculous amount for it.
Yeah.
And they're not, well, unless they're this ridiculous, man, they're not going to do anything with the property. So just sell it at a reasonable price.
That's the reasonable thing to do.
It sure is.
You get a nice chunk of change. You get these nice apartment houses there. Everybody's happy, right?
Yeah.
So Hyman Sarner was trying to determine, what do I pay for this? So he looked at what the city assessed the value of the land at. The city said that land was worth $1,200. Adjusted for inflation, $38,000. So Hyman Sarner knocked on Joseph Richardson's door, and he made him an offer. He said, hey, I'll give you $1,000 for your land. Joseph Richardson was quite offended by that offer.
Give me a break.
He thought, well, that land is clearly much more valuable than that. I mean, why else would Hyman Sarner want it so bad? And so Joseph Richardson, the man who newspapers described as living for the purpose of accumulating money, made a counteroffer. I want $5,000. Adjusted for inflation, Joseph Richardson wanted $158,000 for his strip of land.
That's ridiculous.
Very expensive.
How did he arrive at that figure? Exactly.
Beats me.
Exactly. That's the thing that I don't like about it is like clearly this guy made him an offer based on research. $1,200 is what it's assessed at. Okay, opening offer is $1,000.
Yeah, and that's important that it was the opening offer.
Right.
Obviously, I think Hyman Sarner would have gone up from that price, but you can't start at $1,000 and then counter with $5,000. That's just way off.
Well, you can if there's a good reason. Oh, sir, actually, we discovered oil in the 4.5-foot strip there, so it's actually worth way more. Or, but he's just being an ass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what's he going to do with that money? Nothing. Not buy new trousers, I'll tell you that.
Joseph Richardson was a builder. Maybe he was like, I know the value of these apartment houses you want to build. I know how valuable a corner lot is. Maybe that's where he came up with the $5,000. But either way, they were very far apart.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I'm sure Joseph was looking at, here's the amount of money I think this guy has. I want to see how much I can get from him. But to me, that's not a reason to say $5,000.
Mm-hmm. So you think he's sizing Hyman Sarner up, being like, this guy can definitely pay $5,000.
Yeah, and I think he's being a bit of a turd, if I'm honest.
Wow, I appreciate your honesty in this episode.
Thank you.
So Joseph Richardson's like, yeah, I want $5,000 for my tiny-ass little strip of land. Well, Hyman Sarner scoffed. He was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
The city says it's not worth more than $1,200. Joseph Richardson grumbled, called Hyman Sarner a tightwad, and slammed the door in his face.
Okay, buddy.
So Hyman Sarner couldn't buy the land, but he was undeterred, Kristen. He was like, well, whatever, I'll just build my apartment houses on my property, and, that land's useless to Joseph Richardson anyway. It's not like he can build anything there. So on May 22nd, 1882, Hyman Sarner started construction on his new apartment houses. And Joseph Richardson looked on furiously. How dare Hyman Sarner not buy his plot of land? There was another element, too. Joseph Richardson actually owned several other properties in the Lexington Avenue area. This was his territory. In fact, he had just completed some beautiful marble-fronted homes nearby, located at...
Oh, okay.
1220 Lexington Avenue, New York City. See that marble building? That is a Joseph Richardson building.
Well, it looks like someone about halfway down really messed it up and modernized it.
Yes, so it used to be, so you see the top half?
Yeah, the top half is beautiful.
That used to be what the whole building was made out of, but sometime in the early 20th century, they put a brick facade on the bottom half for the retail spaces, and I think there's office space on the second floor. But it used to be 3 single-family homes.
I bet that was beautiful. Okay, now I've got all kinds of feelings because now I'm like, wow, Joseph really did know his shit. And I wish they hadn't messed with this building.
It was beautiful. And if you look at the top of the building, you'll see a sign that says 1880.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was the year that building was built.
Very confusing if you're lost and looking for a street address, but all
Where
right.
the hell am I? So yeah, Joseph Richardson was like, this is my territory. You stay out of this neighborhood.
Give me a break, dude.
And he got even more pissed when Hyman Sarner's building soon had a wall full of windows overlooking his narrow piece of land and Lexington Avenue. And that's when it hit him. A devilish idea. He knew of the perfect way to get back at Hyman Sarner. That night, he told his daughter Della and his wife Emma, I'm going to build a couple of tall houses on that little strip of land, which will bar the light from Sarner's windows overlooking my land. And he'll find he would have profited had he had just paid me the $5,000.
Good grief. Okay, was the deal that Hyman Sarner's building was really beautiful?
Oh, yeah, it was a very pretty building.
Yeah, I think that's a huge factor here.
There may be, and, obviously I didn't see any evidence of this, but I did think about it, anti-Semitic aspect of this as well. Hyman Sarner was a Jewish businessman.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Uh-huh.
Not going to discount it.
Yeah.
So he told his daughter and his wife, I'm going to build a couple of tall houses to block Hyman Sarner's windows.
And they said,
boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it.
okay, thank you. Yes. Yes, Della and Emma. Yes.
Yes. They were like, you're nuts.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Get a hobby.
But Joseph Richardson was serious.
Well, we know he was, but this is why you shouldn't be allowed to just cash checks all the time from Waterworks, because then you've got too much time on your hands.
Just collecting money, doing whatever he wants with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem with billionaires, okay?
Yes.
Because they're going to do crazy shit like this.
We all need to be a little busy.
They're going to be building freaking spite houses on the moon in 10 years.
Oh, God.
But wait, there's more, Kristen. Joseph Richardson then said, not only will I build the houses, I will live in one of them and rent the other to another tenant.
Why? Now you're just making yourself miserable. You're a tall, gangly dude. You want to be in a house that's 5 feet wide?
Yes.
Well, and the house isn't even 5 feet wide because you got to think about like the walls are going to be.
Oh, we're going to get to all that.
Oh my God. Okay, continue.
He was dead serious, Kristen. Della and Emma were both like, dude, no. Who the hell is going to want to live in a house that narrow?
Right. And Della says this, and she loves living in a prison.
She lives in a prison house.
She is like, that's terrible,
This
Dad.
is too much. Joseph Richardson replied, well, everybody is not fat, and there will be room enough for people who are not circus or museum folk.
What? What? So anyone who isn't fat will therefore be thrilled to live in a tiny house where they can barely turn around without bumping their ass against the wall?
That's right. So yeah, this is a ridiculous idea. Joseph Richardson wanted to not only build a very impractical home to spite his neighbor, but he also wanted to live in it. But who was going to stop the eccentric millionaire? Nobody! So he got to work laying the foundation for his new spite house. And one day, Hyman Sarner came by and noticed the foundation going in on that tiny strip of land. And he was like, are you kidding me right now?
I cannot imagine.
So Hyman Sarner kind of panicked. And he immediately went up to Joseph Richardson and he was like, okay, I will give you $5,000 for this land.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And Joseph,
But Joseph
because he's
Richardson,
the biggest asshole ever. I'm sorry. I'll let you tell the story.
No, you are spot on. Joseph Richardson replied,
Hell no, to the no, no,
This is-
no, hell to the no.
Oh,
He told Hyman Sarner, I only make an offer once.
Oh, you outrageous douchebag. Outrageous.
And so the two competing buildings went up. Joseph Richardson's Spite House was finished first in November of 1882, 5 months before Hyman Sarner's apartment houses. And Kristen, I'd like you to take a look at this freaking building.
Okay.
I want you to Google Joseph Richardson Spite House. It's the first result. Tell me when you got that image pulled up.
The first result.
Should be from a website called Ephemeral New York.
Oh my God. Wait, is it this?
So you see that kind of beautiful looking townhome on the left?
It's not kind of beautiful. It is gorgeous.
Yes. That's the Hyman Sarner apartment house.
Oh my God.
Do you see
gorgeous.
that skinny little brick building on the right?
That is the weirdest thing ever. Yes, I do.
That is Joseph Richardson's Spite House, completely blocking all of the windows on the side of Sarner's apartment house.
What an absolute asshole.
And if you look in some other Google image results, you'll see the front.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, describe what you're seeing.
I'm seeing a joke of a building. It looks like, okay, picture a whale with a barnacle attached to it. That's what this is. It's a barnacle. So this poor guy made a beautiful apartment building, which I'm sure would have been gorgeous for anyone to live in.
Mm-hmm.
And then freaking Joseph comes along, slaps a bunch of bricks together, and it almost looks like a weird facade on the side of this nice big apartment building.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, because it's that skinny.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a pimple on the cheek of a
Norm,
beautiful woman.
Norm, that's very rude of you to say.
So yeah, that was the Joseph Richardson Spite House. Technically, it was 2 spite houses. So Joseph Richardson and Emma moved into one of those spite houses, the one that was blocking Sarner's windows on the corner. And then the other one, Joseph rented it out for $500 a year.
Emma, I know you can't hear me, probably because you've been buried in a coffin made by Joseph. But what the hell, lady? You could have been a widow living off all the properties that your other dead husband left you. And you married this guy? And now you have to live in a shoe?
Yeah. Wait until you hear more about this house.
Oh, my God.
We're not done yet. Della Richardson could not believe what her father had done. And then her dad was like, so Della, do you want to move in with me and your stepmom? Della refused.
Yeah.
She sarcastically said the spite house was, quote, too swell for her to live in. And so she remained at the mysterious prison house. So Kristen, history hoes listening out there, you might be wondering, how on earth do you build a house on a 5-foot wide plot of land? And by the way, as you thought about earlier, Kristen, it's even narrower than 5 feet inside because walls are going to take up at least 8 to 10 inches, right?
Yeah.
I found the floor plans for this insane house. Okay. So inside, at its narrowest, were the hallways. And I'm going to show you on the tape measure how wide the hallway was. This is the hallway.
Okay. So how much have you measured there?
3 feet, 4 inches.
Good grief.
I would take up most of the hallway.
Okay. I have a question.
Okay.
And maybe you won't be able to answer it right away. But his decision to live there, not just build this place, but live there.
Mm-hmm.
To me, what that sounds like is, oh, if I just build this ridiculous place and I rent it out, the city might find a way to tear this down or say, no, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. But if I make this my primary residence,
Mm-hmm.
then the city's not going to have a good standing. No one else is going to have a good standing to try to get me to stop doing this ridiculous thing. Was that a factor?
It was not. That's a great question. Building codes were way different back then.
Okay.
And You have to remember, this guy was a very experienced contractor, builder, mason. He knew all the loopholes, and I'm going to tell you about them. Okay. So yeah, hallways, 3 feet, 4 inches wide. 2 people could not walk in the hallway at the same time. Okay, so how do you even live in a building like that? Joseph Richardson found a loophole. He was a builder. He knew the laws. He knew the regulations. He knew the codes. And there was a rule in New York City at the time that said, if your house is on a corner lot, you're allowed to build bay windows that extend onto the city sidewalk.
Oh.
So that was how Joseph Richardson was able to make his rooms bigger. So the rooms in the house were actually 7 feet, 3 inches wide. Okay. So, like, that's still a tiny room.
Right.
That's
but
smaller
it's
than this. It's livable. It's smaller than this recording studio.
Right.
But it is livable. But still, it's a really weird, odd-shaped home.
And again, this was a choice. This guy did not have to do this.
No. This was all out of spite.
My God.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the grand tour of the home.
Okay.
As you enter, immediately to your right, there is a spiral staircase that took you to all the 3 floors upstairs.
That seems smart, because spiral staircases are very space-saving.
Yes.
Which you'd need that.
Absolutely. But it was a very tight stairway, Kristen. You had to yell up or down that you were coming because 2 people could not be on the stairs at the same time. One time, a reporter from The American named Deacon Terry came to the Spite House to interview Joseph Richardson. And Richardson was up on the roof. And so Deacon Terry made his way up to the roof. And as he walked up the winding staircase, he got stuck.
Oh.
And he yelled for help. Neighbors came in and they tried to push him out. But according to reports, quote, the broad-girthed Mr. Terry remained firmly wedged in.
Oh, come on. Poor Mr. Terry.
It's like Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the funny thing is, like, he'd been like, oh, no fatties in this place. You wouldn't have to be that big for this place to be a problem.
No, not at all.
Really,
Actually,
I would argue that just being human-sized would be a problem.
I wonder if there's a photo of this Deacon Terry fella.
We gonna body shame this man?
Well, I just want to know, like...
History has body shamed him enough.
I know, this report is scathing. So in order to get unstuck, Deacon Terry took off all of his clothes.
No.
And he was able to get out.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
Sorry. That sucks.
He was...
Did they grease him up? So was he stuck in the spiral staircase? You said?
Yes.
Yeah. So sorry. Like,
what is it, Kristen?
Like he completely disrobed?
He got down to his boxer shorts.
Okay, and then people started tugging.
Yeah, and then he was able to slip out. Okay, so that's one of the oddities. So yeah, you walk in, spiral staircase on your right. To your left is like the foyer or like, you know, entry room or whatever. There's a fireplace.
Sure.
And that's where one of the bay windows is.
Okay.
And then at the end of the house on the first floor was a bathroom with just a bathtub.
What about a toilet?
I'm looking at the plans. I do not see anywhere for a toilet.
Okay.
Here's the other thing, though. Water and gas lines were only run to the first floor of the house.
Oh, my God.
And I think a big reason why was to save space. You know, you couldn't run gas and water lines up to the additional floors.
I completely understand, and that's why this should have never happened in the first place.
This bathroom was 6 feet long by 3 feet wide.
Oh, my God.
And it was just a bathtub was jammed in there. That's basically it.
You open the door, boom.
You open the door. I don't even know if there's a door, to be honest. I hope there's a door. You walk in, and there's a guy in the bathtub immediately to your left.
Pay no attention to him or to the chunky reporter who's stuck
on
in
the stairs. Oh, bother. All of the furniture and appliances inside were custom made.
Well, yeah, they'd have to be.
The beds were barely big enough to hold people.
Oh, my God.
The dining room table was 18 inches wide. This is how wide the dining room table was.
So...
That's it.
Okay, I was about to say, so it's like a bar counter, but no. Bar counters are way bigger than that.
It was just like a long, narrow table.
Sure, it's a slab. Let's just call it what it is. It's a slab.
A slab of wood.
Sit on my coffin and eat off the slab.
Yeah. By the way, when he moved into the Spite House, he brought his coffin with him.
Well, sure.
And stored it upstairs. You know, reporters were curious how Emma Richardson was feeling about living in the Spite House.
Yeah.
So they interviewed her a year after they moved in. And she told a reporter that the house was as comfortable as any she had ever lived in, and that there was more room in it than she and her husband needed. The only drawback was the absence of backyards. But then she declared one couldn't have everything on a 5-foot lot. So this is Spite House propaganda. There's no way you are comfortable in this house.
No. Let me tell you what this is code for, Norm. This is code for I'm scared of my husband. I live in a time where a man can put his wife into an asylum. And if there was ever a guy to do it, it's this guy.
Oh, yeah. Emma, blink twice if you need help.
And we know you do.
Because this guy is bonkers. And boy, you want to talk about a man who ran on spite, Kristen. Joseph Richardson was a dedicated spite enthusiast. For the next 15 years, he lived in that spite house and continued to operate his businesses throughout the city. You know, something I thought about when I was doing this episode? Do you remember the whole tiny home
I've been
craze?
Thinking about this too. Yes.
Okay. That was really big 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Where everyone was like, I want to live in a tiny, tiny home.
Right.
It was kind of like romanticized poverty.
It seemed really cool. It seemed really minimalistic.
Mm-hmm.
Simplify your life.
Sure.
But then
you would read stories of people that gave up on their tiny home. And then it made me think when I was researching this, how many people stayed in their tiny home out of stubbornness? Like refusal to admit that this was a mistake.
Yeah, because it kind of blew up in a way that then people started to laugh at it and criticize it. And yeah, when you've done something that everyone's starting to laugh at and criticize, you can get defensive.
Well, I'm actually thinking of, you hear about this tiny house idea, you romanticize it, you get one, you move in, and you realize, oh, this kind of sucks, actually. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with tiny houses. There's plenty of people that live in them and they love them.
Yeah.
But I do think it was kind of a trendy thing, and people did it just because it was kind of the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And so I do think there was a stubbornness of like, I'm not leaving. And I think Joseph Richardson, out of spite, was like, I'm not leaving my weird narrow brick house.
Yeah.
But in April of 1897, Joseph Richardson was confined to his spite house. He was slowly dying of heart disease, and he had become bedridden.
Oh.
He conducted his final business affairs from the house. Work associates, guests, nurses, they awkwardly shuffled in and out of the narrow doors and hallways. To make matters worse, Joseph Richardson had grown extremely paranoid. He was not convinced he was dying of heart disease. He believed his family was trying to kill him and rob him of his money.
Good Lord, dude. It's not like you were spending any of it.
He told one guest, there's a conspiracy going on in this house. Yeah, never mind. Never mind that I built this weird fucking house.
Can you imagine?
That's 4 stories high and 5 feet wide.
Imagine being in this weird house and the weird guy who built it and lives in it is like, you're not going to believe this, but something strange is going on in here.
They're trying to kill me. as the coffin is next to him. His walnut coffin with his canned peaches inside. Another visitor a law clerk named William Warren, said that after a nurse gave Joseph Richardson a glass of water, he turned to him and was like, "Warren, they are trying to poison me. Go get me a drink."
Oh, my.
And so William Warren returned with a fresh glass of water, which Joseph Richardson slurped down. And as he did, Richardson said loud enough for everybody to hear, "Yeah, they tried to kill me the other night too, but that's okay. I'm going to live. I will not die." But Kristen, Joseph Richardson did in fact die.
You're kidding.
Of heart disease.
Yeah.
On June 8th, 1897. He was 82 years old.
Good grief.
That weekend, hundreds of mourners and curious neighbors gathered in front of the infamous Spite House. They looked on as pallbearers struggled to get Richardson and his homemade coffin down the tight spiral stairway of the home.
Okay. Now, they couldn't have put him in the coffin and then tried to take him down, right? That's crazy.
I think that's exactly what they did because his bedroom...
He'd be slipping and sliding.
His bedroom was on like the second or third floor.
Well, I understand that.
And that's where the coffin was too.
I understand that, but I think, listen, if I'm part of this process, I'm saying, boys, we're taking the coffin down first. Okay? And we're going to do our best to keep the lid on and everything. Maybe we make a couple trips. And then someone is going to have to like let Joseph's dead body piggyback.
We don't want an episode of coffin flop going on here, right?
That's right. But, I mean, there would be a coffin flop. Anybody who, if you don't watch I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, you've got to. It's hilarious.
Yes. There's a prank show where they carry a coffin and the body falls through the bottom of it.
And if there was ever a time when a body was going to fall out of a coffin, it's when a bunch of dudes try to take a body down a spiral staircase inside the coffin. I'm just telling you, Norm, there's no way they did it.
And not just any spiral staircase. This is
the
smallest freaking staircase. So you're suggesting they should have done kind of a Weekend at Bernie's situation where they kind of prop up Joseph and they kind of carry him down and then they put him in the coffin.
I'm not suggesting it. I'm not saying they should have. I'm saying that's the only way they could have done it. Right?
Well, no.
Unless they open up a window on the third floor and they just coffin flop him right out of there.
They toss the coffin out the window on a mattress, you think? Well, somehow they got Joseph Richardson in his coffin down that stairway and out of the home as hundreds looked on. The man who shunned publicity his whole life was now getting a ton of it.
I do not believe that he shunned publicity.
You think that was all made up? I mean, when you build a Spite House...
No, someone who does so many things publicly, you know you're going to be in the papers, and he did a lot of bad things publicly, which means that he did get some bad press.
He did.
And there's a type of person who, when they get that bad press, they just get defensive and, oh, they're after me, blah, blah, blah. I started to sound like the Lucky Charms guy. But...
They're after me, Lucky Charms.
Yeah, and not examining their own behavior, but instead it's, oh, well, I just hate the media. I hate the press. No,
Sure.
You build a house like this, all you want is attention. That is all you want in the world is for people to pay attention to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you see that a lot today where people are like, I hate the media, fake news, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you do a lot of terrible shit. You get a lot of bad press.
Yeah. If you truly don't like the media, if you truly don't want to be in the newspaper, there's a super simple solution. Just live a very normal life. And then you won't find yourself being interviewed or talked about or written about.
Interesting.
Well,
how am I supposed to get back at my neighbor, though, Kristen?
You're supposed to let it go and be like a normal dude.
By the way, I didn't even mention the numerous lawsuits this guy was involved in. He was sued many times.
I'm sure.
Many
And
times.
you're not just talking about the Spite House. You're talking about just for his...
No, just for his many businesses.
Of course he was.
I read stuff about, he was going to build a new, horse-drawn streetcar on 2nd Avenue. He hired a contractor, didn't pay the contractor, shit like that.
Yep. We love him. Yeah.
I mean, when I was researching, so many lawsuits
he
was involved in. So, yeah, he did get a lot of bad press. You were right about that. So, weekend at Joseph Richardson's. They got his body out of the Spite House. They carry his coffin down the street to the Central Park Baptist Church. And at that church, the Reverend H.M. Warren delivered the eulogy. He said, quote, "Those who knew our dead brother best learned to love him the best. He was not only a successful man, but he was a kind man, utterly frank and truthful, intensely loyal to his friends, and also he was one petty bitch." Okay, he didn't say that last part.
Yeah, instead he just lied.
Joseph Richardson was buried in the Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, New York. And as promised, he was buried in his homemade walnut coffin. Well, kind of, because, Joseph Richardson had thought, I might be too small for my coffin. No, actually, he was too big for his coffin now. And so carpenters had to tear it apart, and they just nailed those walnut boards to a bigger coffin.
I love how much he would have hated that.
Oh, yeah. Would have drove him furious. Later that night, Joseph Richardson's family, including his daughter Della, his son George, and his wife Emma, gathered in the Spite House to read Joseph's last will and testament. It was the moment they had all been waiting for. Who would inherit the glorious Spite House? Actually, the family was more concerned about Joseph Richardson's money, which was supposedly around $30 million. Adjusted for inflation, Joseph Richardson's assets were worth $1.1 billion.
Good grief.
Joseph Richardson had written his will just a few months before his death, and it declared the following. Reverend H.M. Warren, who delivered the eulogy at the funeral, would receive $50,000. Adjusted for inflation, $2 million for the Reverend.
Wow.
The Central Park Baptist Church, where his funeral was held, would receive $17,500. Adjusted for inflation, $680,000. And that paid off the church's mortgage.
Okay.
And the rest of Joseph Richardson's assets would be divided evenly. 1/3 to his wife, Emma Richardson, 1/3 to his daughter, Delarifa Richardson, and 1/3 to his son, George Richardson. And that was that. Or was it?
I sense that it wasn't.
Because about 1 week later, Joseph's daughter Della contested the will.
Oh, boy. The spite apple didn't fall far from the spite tree.
No,
Here
it
we
didn't.
go.
No, it did not, as you will see. So like I said before, Della Richardson didn't like her new stepmother.
Any actual reason for that?
Not that I could find.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Well, Della thought there were some shenanigans happening during her father's final days. Della argued that her father had written another will 3 years earlier in 1894. And in that will, the only people who stood to inherit anything were her and her brother, George. And Della and George believed that Joseph Richardson was not of sound mind when he wrote that new will, and that he was subject to undue influence. It's not a terrible argument. Joseph Richardson did some kooky things. He lived in a house that was 5 feet wide.
No, he was kooky his whole life, so that doesn't hold. And also, do we have this other will? Is it with us?
Yes.
Okay.
They produced a copy of the will.
Well, then we get to my next point, which is that's his fucking wife.
Oh, I agree.
And she had assets that she brought into that marriage.
Absolutely.
She shouldn't be walking away with zero, especially after suffering with this man.
I agree. Testify, Kristen.
That's it.
Well, Della looked Emma in the eye and said,
Let's go to court!
The ensuing case was an absolute shit show. The New York Times said it was one of the biggest battles over an inheritance ever. Witnesses poured in to testify. Some of them said, yeah, Joseph Richardson was fucking crazy. Sometimes he thought he was in Europe. He didn't recognize close friends and acquaintances. But others argued Joseph Richardson was perfectly fine. In fact, in his final days, he had conducted many normal business operations. The court also had to deal with a flood of relatives pouring in, putting in claims for the inheritance. Half-brothers, half-sisters, nieces, nephews, they all came out of the woodwork to collect a piece of the $30 million prize. Speaking of that $30 million, authorities were kind of having trouble locating that money.
Oh, my God.
It's almost as if it had mysteriously vanished.
What are you talking about?
It wasn't until the testimony of Homer W. Nichols that people would learn the truth. Homer Nichols was a confidential advisor of Joseph Richardson, so he helped manage his wealth. And Homer Nichols told the court that Joseph Richardson definitely did not have $30 million. It was more like $1.5 million.
Oh, my God.
Just for inflation, about $58 million.
Yes, nothing to sneeze at all.
Right, but way less than $30 million.
Wow.
And so the court was like, what gives? And by the way, this is really hard to trace during this time because it's all paper.
Right.
Everything's on paper.
Right.
So Nichols said in the last few years of his life, Joseph Richardson became a very, very, very risky investor on Wall Street. He had gambled on Wall Street and lost between $10 to $25 million.
Wow.
And not to mention, like I said earlier, many of his assets were not even in his name. Most of his wealth was tied up in securities and bonds, which he used as collateral for loans. Many of his properties were pretty much worthless because they were tied up in debt. And the court soon discovered that both Della and George Richardson were in possession of many of Joseph's securities.
So what are they complaining about?
And the court asked them, where are those securities?
Right.
George and Della claimed, well, our father gave them to us before he died. But the court was like, we have to see them. So the court summoned Della Richardson to testify because apparently she had a little tin box which contained a bunch of her father's securities, but Della refused the summon. She remained hidden away in that prison house.
Oh, my God.
And a judge finally had to issue an arrest warrant for her.
Yep.
Then she finally came to court and presented the little tin box, and they opened it up, and there was nothing in it.
Della,
and she was like, "Huh? I don't know what you're talking about."
Weird, huh? I guess since it's not here, I just get to keep whatever I took out of the box. I mean, whoops.
Yeah. So this was all very hard to trace. The contest over Joseph Richardson's will would last for 2 years.
That's actually way shorter than I was expecting.
That's true, because these do tend to last a long time.
Yeah.
Well, during the contest, George Richardson, the son, he died, which made it even more complicated. His wife and son, I think, got some money.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it would go to his heirs. Gotcha.
And here's the even weirder thing, Kristen. I mentioned that Joseph Richardson had an older brother named Ben Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't even think I mentioned his name. He had an older brother named Ben Richardson.
Okay.
Ben Richardson was also wealthy. He made a lot of money in 1849 in California, mining gold.
Okay.
And he died as an eccentric millionaire in New York City. And just like his brother Joseph, his assets mysteriously vanished.
Wow.
Yeah. His brother's story is a whole other episode. His brother was freaking cuckoo bananas as well.
You know what, Norm? I would welcome a series on eccentric millionaires. It makes me so mad, but there is something so oddly fascinating about this. So with the assets just vanishing, is that just a matter of people just stealing stuff?
Yeah, I believe so. And that is what some sources say, that Della and George basically took all the securities and hid them.
Wow.
So when the dust finally settled, the court ruled in favor of Joseph's wife, Emma Richardson. They said Joseph Richardson was of sound mind. He wrote the new will. We're going to go with that one. So she was owed 1/3 of the inheritance. But by the time this whole case was over, there was basically nothing left to inherit. Emma owed $200,000 in legal fees alone.
Oh, it's just like what they say. The only people who profit are the attorneys.
Yeah, no kidding. And in the end, the only thing Emma Richardson really got was that fucking spite house.
No. No, Emma.
Do you see the problem with this kind of spite? It comes back to bite you.
This sucks. This sucks so much. This is just, as women, we've been sold a bunch of toxic shit. But, oh, you need a man. You need a man. This story is proof that no. If you got yourself a man and he died and you got the rest of the stuff, just rock out, lady.
Mm-hmm.
Just do your thing. You do not need to marry some weird rich dude. You won't even get a good life out of it. You won't even get a full-size mattress.
Yeah, but wasn't it funny when that guy got stuck on the stairs?
I feel bad for him.
Hilarious. Get the honey.
No, you don't want honey. Then he's stuck there forever.
I'm thinking of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, you want lard. You want lard to grease him up, and then he just
slides down the stairs.
Slides
down the stairs. Oh, if you thought we were done, by the way, we're not done.
Oh, okay.
Della Richardson was not going to let Emma just walk away with the spite house. Think again, Kristen.
That's all she got.
In 1900, Della looked Emma in the eye again and said,
I will
Let's
not.
go to court.
No, Della, you are ridiculous.
She sued her stepmom for possession of the spite house. She claimed her father had given her a deed to the house, and therefore Emma was simply a tenant, and she wanted Emma evicted.
Della, you don't even leave your own home. What are you going to do with that crappy, weird, small house?
She could throw buckets of water on people.
Yeah.
The whole time I've been thinking about the poor person that moved into Hyman Sarner's apartment house, and they look out the window of Lexington Avenue, and it's just a brick wall.
Yeah.
The back of Joseph Richardson's spite house. That sucks.
Hopefully you get a discount.
No kidding.
Yeah.
25% off your first month. Just your first month.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So Emma Richardson argued, hey, I was living in this stupid house when my husband died. It's mine. I inherited the house.
Yeah.
Well, it came time to argue the case, and neither party showed up to court. Della failed to provide any evidence that she owned the spite house.
Of course.
And so the judge dismissed the case. He stated it was, quote, an unfortunate litigation between relatives, which bids fair to justify the naming of the premises the spite house.
Oh.
2 years later, Emma Richardson had had enough of the house that Spite built.
Yes.
She sold it to real estate dealers in 1902 for $15,000. Adjusted for inflation, $560,000. The buyers of the spite house expanded the front of it and turned the first floor into retail shops. Records show a tailor, a cobbler, and an electrician were operating businesses out of the spite house. In 1909, the spite house was sold again for $18,500. Adjusted for inflation, $650,000. The building now had 6 retail spaces, and each space brought in a rent payment of $2,500 a year. Meanwhile, Della Richardson sold one of her inherited pieces of property. She sold the prison house. The buyer agreed to let Della continue to live there for $75 a month. But soon, the buyer realized Della was not making any rent payments. And so he was like, what gives? And Della said, I'm not going to pay you because I overheard you bragging about how you got such a good deal on this house.
Della.
You never expected to buy the property for so cheap. And that pissed Della off. So out of spite, she decided to stop paying rent. The buyer went to the court, got an eviction notice, and kicked Della Richardson out of the prison house.
Good.
Movers came and took everything out of it, which was apparently filled with, quote, old, dingy, worn-out furniture and tons of ball of cord, which Della had saved.
Okay.
Della Richardson moved into another property located at 57 West 9th Street, New York City.
Oh, well, that's adorable.
Yeah.
A nice little brownstone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think today it's apartments, but I'm imagining back then it was a single family home.
It just looks like Carrie's apartment in Sex and the City.
There you go. Great description.
Yep.
And just like that, Della Richardson died in 1918. But whatever became of Joseph Richardson's infamous Spite House? It was the talk of the neighborhood for a long time. But in 1911, the building became uninhabitable. The city was expanding their underground subway line, and excavations in the area endangered the Spite House. A contractor came in and said it's going to cost $15,000 to stabilize the Spite House, and the newspapers called it hardly worth the money. So in 1915, a company bought the property, and they tore down Joseph Richardson's Spite House.
That makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, well, they also tore down Hyman Sarner's apartment houses. And in its place, they built an 11-story apartment building, which still stands today, located at 1216 Lexington Avenue. And you'll see it's right next door to Joseph Richardson's marble house.
Yes. Okay. Wait, so Joseph Richardson built that big, nice place, and then just kind of right next door, he built his Spite House?
He did.
Good grief. I don't know how that makes it worse, but it does.
It was a sad end to Joseph Richardson's Spite House. Kristen was very upset when she learned it was torn down. Mm-hmm. But make no mistake, history hoes, this was unhealthy spite. Joseph Richardson's stubbornness and greed built that house. It was the crystal light fruit punch of spite, and we simply do not support that here on an old-timey podcast. It may feel good short-term, but long-term, that kind of nasty spite can make you a very unpleasant person to be around.
Yeah.
An opinion piece in the New York Times from the late 1800s summed up that feeling best. They wrote, "It does not appear, nor is it likely, that Joseph Richardson ever had a friend in his life. Oh. He was carried from his Spite House to his grave, unlamented by any human being. Yet, according to the common estimate, he was successful in life. If this was success, what is failure?"
Wow.
And that is the story of a Spite House.
That is so beautifully put and so true, because we're a society that, you know, if you accumulate a lot of money, we call you successful. But this guy didn't even have the good sense to enjoy the money he had.
No.
Like, why not have a good life?
He's got a freaking coffin in his dining room putting canned peaches in it.
Well, and the other thing I'm thinking of, it's not about spite, but that quote about basically like hating someone else and wishing ill on someone else is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it.
Yes.
And that's what this man is to me. It's also what Della is to me.
Oh, man. Yeah, Della was, I feel like, very much like her father.
Absolutely. It's sad.
Like I said, wild story the more I researched. And I am begging the Gilded Age producers, please make a Joseph Richardson character. It would be so funny.
I mean, this is really fascinating. I can't believe. Here's the thing. I can believe someone did this because people are ridiculous. But to then go and live in it, to commit.
That's what got me.
That is.
He lived in it.
Wild.
For 15 years, he lived in that stupid Spite House.
Because one guy came to you and made you a very reasonable offer on some property you owned.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I have seen other Spite Houses, and many of them are like beautiful homes that I would want to live in, but they were built out of spite originally.
Sure.
This is like the only one where I'm like, this thing, like, you can't live in it. It sucks.
It sucks for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, because, you know, when you think of other Spite Houses where it's like, I want to block your beautiful view, so I'm going to create a big house. It's like, oh, well, yeah, you did get revenge on this person you're mad at. Which
is kind of like the Spite House in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
They built a beautiful home, but they built it to piss off the people behind them.
Yeah.
And ruin their view. But yeah, Joseph Richardson builds this monstrosity of a spite house. It sucks to live in, and he freaking lives in it.
You know what it is? Here's what it is, Norm. Okay, everyone, our recording studio, it's pretty small. Very small room.
It's cozy.
It's cozy. So let's say you piss me off.
Okay.
And I'm just mad.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
If I were Joseph Richardson and you said something to piss me off, the way I would solve it, I'd shit my pants.
In this tiny room?
I'd shit my pants in this tiny room. I'd be sitting in shit. I'd be miserable, but I'd be sitting there going, Norm has to smell it.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it is.
That's unhealthy spite right there.
It sure is. It's also disgusting and just a biohazard.
It is. It's very, very unsafe for you as well, Kristen.
Okay, so Norm, you've established... Wait, first, is this story done?
Yep.
Okay, you've established you're a fan of spite.
I am.
Do you want to tell, like, a good spite story from your life or an example of spite that you enjoy? Oh, is this all too shameful?
I think we have been recording for over 2 hours, and I'm going to keep this story to myself.
Wow. A mystery man.
Mm-hmm. Thank you all for listening. Should we wrap up this episode?
Yes, let's do it.
Folks, if you enjoyed this episode, I have plenty more spite houses to talk about. So please let me know in the comments on Spotify or Reddit, Facebook, wherever, if you enjoyed this. I loved researching this one. If you want to hear more about spite houses, just let me know.
Norm, I'm telling you right now, I think December bonus episode, make it a spite house one.
More spite houses?
I loved this.
Okay.
I'm blown away by it.
All right.
Okay, you know what they say about history, hoes? We always cite our sources.
That's right. For this episode, I got my information from the blogs, northend.page and Daytonian in Manhattan. The book, New York's Architectural Holdouts by Andrew Alpern and Seymour Durst, plus a ton of old-timey newspaper articles. Check the show notes.
That's all for this episode. Thank you for listening to an old-timey podcast.
Please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts, and while you're at it, subscribe. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/oldtimeypodcast. Join the Reddit community, r/oldtimeypodcast. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram at Old Timey Podcast. You can also follow us individually on Instagram. She is the lovely Kristen Pitts Caruso.
Hey.
I go by Gaming Historian, and until next time, toodaloo, ta-ta, and cheerio.
Bye.
Bye.